Okay, we should be live for our weekly show here on the Game Wisdom channel. I am Josh Placer, and this is going to be for the week of May 3rd, 2020. We are slowly but surely entering the summertime, but still doesn't matter much because we're all still stuck inside. Joining me, as always, is indie game developer Sharky. How are you doing?
I'm doing tornadic
Oh no.
because we're having tornadic storms here.
Huh? It's a pandemic, tornadoes. I mean, and I've heard there's now like giant killer bees coming to the United States. So it's going to be a very fun summer, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I think I think we're about to get to the perfect storm. Literally, where we have the tornadoes knock down the houses, the bees sting everybody outside the houses, and everybody while they're running away from the bees catches the coronavirus, and homeless, bee stung, and in the need of treatment for respirating.
Is it the bee's knees, chat?
Yes, it is. It is the bee's
Well,
knees.
if a tornado hits you, does it mean it becomes a sharknado?
Yes, it does.
A bee sharknado. There we go. I think we just found the next sequel in that lovely franchise. But while we're still stuck inside, as a Shark Typhoon card, we still have always our game design topics. During what's been going on this past week, I've been once again inundated with indie games. There we go, El Gordo.
I might have to add a short typhoon card to Project Triad.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What games did we play? I really enjoyed that Dreadnaughtica from Zen Studios, and I've been eyeing a bunch of games that are on sale to add, to that backlog that doesn't seem to go away because I play one game and then I add 5 more to it.
Yeah, but yet you still have trouble finding out what the heck you're going to play.
Yeah, I'll just play Anno all night long and people fall asleep.
Indeed, they will.
Yeah. That calming music and my voice will just put everyone to sleep. But tonight we'll be playing some classic Sega Genesis games, as I finally got into the workshop for the Sega Genesis collection. And it says
the workshop that I've been pointing out the entire time.
Yep. And it says don't download this if you don't own those games. But fortunately, as we all know, I own every game ever made, plus the ones that aren't even out yet, so I'm perfectly safe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. I still need to get back into that End Zone game because the developer's been bugging me to get a video up, and I'm still working on that as sponsored piece as well. See, when I get a sponsor video, it's not just make whatever you want. They want me to say we want your analytical thoughts and we want you to get to a specific point in the game. So I got to work for my sponsor content.
Yeah.
It's not just make a wacky video. No, you must play to this specific point. I know, we'll do a sponsored piece on a Dark Souls game, and I'll be required to beat it on Soul Level 1. But, let's see. I've been eyeing that Warhammer Inquisitor Mara game, the ARPG that people are telling me about. A few of the Trails games are on sale. I may pick up Trails 2. We'll somehow finish that series maybe by 2023, 2025, hopefully.
No, well, hopefully, but you have a lot of games to go before we get to there.
Mm-hmm. And we're hopefully going to be getting the Adventure game designers together for a roundtable chat this week. So look forward to a lot of fandoms colliding in the chat there, Shark.
Uh-oh.
You're going to be buried by a Fannado, I think.
Uh-oh.
And let's see, anything else before we start with some news? Talked about that.
Well, we've been playing some Streets of Rage 4.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought it was pretty good. I've been playing it more on Mania by myself, which is definitely a challenging experience. I did beat arcade mode, which is beat the entire game without on one credit.
Yeah.
That was
I've
not.
also been playing some Blasphemous.
Oh, how are you finding it?
Like the controls, the default controls are pretty awkward. Like
Yeah.
like there's only one button on the gamepad that you use, and everything else is the trigger buttons. It's like why?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I altered those controls very quickly when I played the demo of that.
Yeah, those controls are the default controls are not good at all.
Yeah, I think they
And
made that you can completely rebind them, which I think originally you couldn't do that.
yeah, I haven't checked into it because I just got it about an hour ago, so I've only played like a few minutes of it.
Mm.
Also been playing more Oxygen Not Included, and now that I've upgraded to 16 megs of RAM, I can now get about 16 FPS with my major huge base kind of thing. And mind you, my base is bigger than what you can possibly build normally because I have a mod in there that makes my world so much bigger. See, like, I can't remember what the normal size of the worlds were, but I believe they were something like 100 by 300. And, like, with my mod, I've turned it into, like, 500 by 500.
Oh, good. Every
So
time
it's
you
like,
break the game, you'll have to upgrade your RAM.
yeah, and it's still not enough RAM because, like, I max out that RAM in, like, about, it only takes about 10, 15 cycles to max out the RAM, and then it'll go for to about 60 cycles before it'll crash because of the RAM.
Nice. Well, you'll get to what, like 128 in like a month.
I'm on like cycle like 2000 something. Like it had good frame rate for a while until I just expanded and expanded and expanded my base. I'm on the surface, two different places that were arguably like 3 or 4 of the regular game maps apart, and mind you that the surface is 1.5, 2 times higher than it is in the stock, and I'm also at the bottom of both of those things. There's still a little bit of map on the other side that I haven't uncovered, kind of thing.
I don't know.
I can make it worse.
Why don't you want to play Blasphemous, Phony? That was a pretty fun game. I've heard like some people complain about the difficulty. Like some thought it was gonna be more Metroidvania, some thought it was gonna be more Souls-like. And it was kind of like ended up like somewhere in the middle, I think.
It's a Metro Sovsvania.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, has there been any news on Hollow Knight? Because I keep hearing people like being excited about, but I'm not seeing anything new in terms of that expansion or expansion sequel.
People are always excited about it, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Just like Fortnite and Untitled Dude came until it wasn't.
Yeah. So as I was saying on the Discord, apparently Nickelodeon had their favorite gamer award for their Kids' Choice, and unfortunately, kids didn't choose me.
No kids watch this channel.
Yeah, except for that kid who came when we were playing Streets of Rage.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we don't know. He wasn't watching you though. He was just in the Discord. He's in the Discord, but he wasn't watching you at the time. So my point still holds. There's not any kids that watch you.
Mm-hmm.
They just come on your Discord.
Yep. But then with that, let's get to some game news, and then we'll get to our first topic here. So let's see. They're still uncovering what's going on with the whole Last of Us 2 leak that people have been talking about.
Yeah, that's looking horrible.
Yeah. I still don't really care about Last of Us. I haven't played the first one yet.
No, I never cared about either one of them,
Mm-hmm.
but like I kind of care about it now with the controversy because of the controversy
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, and not care about it in the normal way, but care about it because of the controversy.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if they have done, if they have done as bad as what, if everything that they've done is at face value, then ooh, it is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And even the people that support them is not going to support them on this one.
Yeah. And as they're saying, that the leaks were because of a disgruntled employee, because of the fact that they were pretty much like the rumor that I've been hearing from a long time is that Naughty Dog is a very horrible place to work at.
Yeah, yeah, that's a common rumor, and been many news articles on that. And the thing is it's probably true. It is most likely true that it's a disgruntled worker. And the thing is in PR they can't say that, because if they say that, then that just made them look even worse.
Yeah, and some places will try and make them sign like a gag order so they can't report it after they get fired.
Mm-hmm. You know, and their their only hope is, from a PR standpoint, if it is the employee, which it is likely to be the employee,
Mm-hmm.
is I can only see two potentials, kind of thing. They let it ride. They don't do anything, and they just let the employee get away with it, or they very quietly sue them and get whatever they can out of them, and if the media gets the slightest whiff of that, they are completely screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Because the media, you're suing somebody who's exposing your supposed bullcrap. The only way that well, there's a third way, is if there's actual context to the things they said. The things, everything was taken completely out of context, not at face value.
Mm-hmm.
And then after they prove that, then they sue, kind of thing. But at the same time, it could really be argued that they put in a patch and made that not be a face value kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, like, and you see, like, people, like, this has, like, always been that very sticky point about, like, you'll have people online saying, oh, they were right to leak it because, the place was so horrible, and, you can't let them get away with it. And then you have people attacking the leaker saying, how dare you ruin, the quality of this game, with your problems with how this company works.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I know I wouldn't want my stuff leaked, but I know that also if somebody is doing bad things, I would want that to be leaked, so that the bad things can be exposed. So I'm at two minds on the thing. So like I can't say either way, because like neither way is like fully justified in either way. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's two minds, on that kind of thing. What happened. We can only deal with the consequences and whatever happens going forward, and so can they. They can make different choices and face the consequences for those choices. But like the developer is definitely in a very sticky situation right now, to say the least, and
Yep.
they have little to no way out of it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be for the best.
Yep. There's
Might
been
not be too, but we don't actually know.
Mm-hmm. The problem, of course, as we've said before, this could probably fill its own topic, like fully at some point, is how some of these studios are wishing for their games to fail to not reward, this kind of behavior, these kinds of, crunch centric focus.
Yeah, Yeah, like I can understand that and hate it at the same time because, like, I wouldn't want a game to fail just for the sake of failing, kind of thing. But at the same time, I don't want people to be forced into crunch, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I also don't want AAA taking advantage of their consumers or their employees. So, again, can go multiple ways, kind of thing. Things are not black and white, sadly. Some things are, but like that, not one of them.
Yep. And again, like, I think this is again why we have those calls for a game dev union. That there has to be somebody protecting the developers and the people working on these games.
Yeah, I'm both for and against that again. Because like there's two things like unions can protect can protect the user, the game dev employees, but at the same time they can make it worse on them too, because like I've seen many unions devolve into, oh well, we're working for the AAA, not the employees, so we're going to enforce even harsher things on you, and we're taking part of your money on top of that, so they get even lower pay and they have worse kind of thing. Like I mean, it can end up far worse than having no union and taking money on top of it, or it could just end up, where they fight for them, but they fight on a limited basis and then they take the money. Or it could be where they just lazily do nothing and then take the money, kind of thing. Like there's so many ways a union can be bad, and only one way that it can be good. And that good way is very, very good. Like if we could lock it down to where unions could only be that one thing, I would be absolutely pro unions, but like we can't, and there's so many ways that unions can go horribly bad, and that's the scary part about unions, and that's the part that it's like I don't want to say yay or nay on that kind of thing. Again, not a black and white issue.
And of course, like the final point, then we'll move on to our first topic: is this really going to have an impact on the game sales? Because unfortunately, we're not seeing that. Remember the whole controversy with Blizzard and Hong Kong? People immediately forgot that when they announced Overwatch and Diablo 4.
Well, that's because that's the reason why they released those.
Yep.
To cover it up. But can Naughty Dog do something like that? Can they announce Overwatch and Diablo 4?
They'll announce a Crash Bandicoot Cross Last of Us. That will distract people.
I mean, if they do enough PR distraction, then they could wipe out a lot of the bad kind of thing, the bad publicity. But if they can't or don't kind of thing, they might actually hurt from this. I think Blizzard would be hurting for this if they didn't do that. Oh, here's Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 before it even started. We haven't started developing on any of these things, but here they are. We made a trailer that is all cinematics. Enjoy the cinematic trailer, because that's all there is. This is the entirety of Diablo 4. And we'll start on development, and we'll be done in 3-4 years.
There we go. All right. Well, with that, let's get to our first topic, and let's talk about demos, because I think that will lead into the prologue talk later on. So, when we talk about demos in video games, this was originally pretty much the only way in town you could get access to a game early. For the older people, we remember getting demo discs in our magazines. As we got to like the early parts of digital games, we saw stores or sites like Steam, Origin, and so on having access to demos of games. And since then, it has died down considerably. But I would still say, like, I don't know, I still feel like there is a marker, there's still a need for having a demo or some playable version of your game. What do you think?
It's again one of those questionable things. Like I mean, Steam's refund policy does do a lot in terms of that kind of thing, but at the same time, you shouldn't have to put money to try a game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's hard on that kind of thing, and demos are very hard and challenging to make because they are essentially their own game,
Mm-hmm.
and a demo, if not done right, can kill the sales to your game.
Yep.
But if a demo is done right, it could potentially supercharge it. But the problem is it's so hard to do them right and so easy to do them wrong.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the question, though, is no demo better than a bad demo? What do you think?
No demo better than bad demo?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would absolutely say yes. No demo is better than a bad demo. You have to, if you're going to do a demo, you need to absolutely put the work behind it and make the best demo, the flashiest demo that you can possibly make. Mm-hmm. It needs to be polished. It needs to be, out there. It needs to be just 11 out of 10, kind of thing. It just needs to be. And also at the same time, is you can't put too much content in your demo.
Mm-hmm.
If you make your demo way too long, people are going to play it, and that's all they want to play. There's no reason for them to buy the game now. Mm-hmm. like say you made your demo, I don't know, 10 hours long, or like a 20-hour game. Well, most people aren't going to finish your demo because most people drop off before the 10-hour mark.
Yep.
And they're going to be like, why would I play the real game? I got all the playing I wanted out of the demo.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you don't want to cut it too short either, because if you cut it too short, then you're like, there wasn't enough there. Like I'm sure you've had some of these games where you played it, and it's like 20 minutes of cutscenes and everything. You get through it, and it's a platformer, and you do like 2 jumps, and then it's like, thank you for trying the demo. It's like, there was nothing but cutscenes and 2 jumps.
Yeah. Or the demo doesn't really show the game is. We'll put all the easy stuff in the demo, and then you buy the real game and you're just going to get wiped out. Or vice versa. That the demo is all the hardest stuff, and then you start playing the game, and then there's nothing. Like, you begin the game, and it's just a completely different experience.
Yeah. I know, like, the demo needs to be its own game. And another thing is if people get their hands on demo, they can potentially data mine it and leak it. Leak
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you don't want them to do. So, what we did on our demo, and I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I know this is what we did. And that was, we took our game files. We found one map that we really liked, and we were like, this map would be a good map, kind of thing. But, this cutscene kind of doesn't work for it. So let's take a cutscene from another map and put it in on this map. And then, we put the title screen in, did all that. And then, and we definitely screwed up because, at the end of the map, I mean, we should have definitely said, wish list on Steam or whatever kind of thing. We didn't do that kind of thing. I don't think we could have, and I don't remember, but I don't think we did. And, I should have honestly just done a completely custom cutscene for it instead of using cutscene from something else. and referenced, did some of the meta that's in the game and talked about the demo itself in
And I,
there.
and I think to a point that you said a minute ago about how the demo needs to be of high quality. In many cases, I think some of the better examples of demos almost become like a second game. And we've heard developers, like especially those who had to make E3 specific demos, that that basically takes over a chunk of your time that you could have been spent, actually making the game.
Oh yeah. Like our demo took, I think it was like 2 weeks to make it. Even though we were just using stuff that was already existed for the most part, it still took like a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm seeing the stream buffering over here too.
Yeah, I'm seeing it too. It's not. I don't think it's on my end. I'm not seeing any frame loss on OBS. Oh, you two. It's all those people watching. All those people stuck inside now. They're screwing up YouTube.
Yeah.
And
That's
and I think to Pony's point there, like a standalone demo are usually like some of the higher quality demos out there, where it's something that it's its own self-contained experience. But again, the double-edged sword is that it takes a lot of time and again a lot more energy to make that when you're still making the full game as well.
Indeed.
And
Because you just take it on a separate development path, like what we did, kind of thing, and just we take the assets, we take everything that we're going to copy and everything, and then we basically delete everything else that we're not going to use, and then we save it as a different name. Like when you're copying an image, kind of thing. Like this is, like if you were to copy an image for a thumbnail, kind of thing. You're making your thumbnail. You take this image and you make a copy of it, and then you rename that copy, and then you put stuff in it to make your thumbnail, kind of thing. Kind of like that, but with game program files, kind of thing. And you just assign a new name to it that says demo, and you after you delete everything that you don't need, then you develop farther on it.
Yep. And when you're trying to like build like a demo, I was going back to the original God of War, that demo disc that they put out for. That was basically the first level all the way up to the Hydra fight, and then it cuts out right at that Hydra. And I thought that was a pretty good demo in terms of, again, the demo is almost like, in a way, it's essentially like an interactive trailer for your game.
Well, you have to make sure that it's not too different. That's one of the things you've got to make sure of when you're developing it.
Yeah. And I think another thing that has been kind of a trap is when developers put out demos that still feature like placeholder art or elements like that doesn't look finished.
Oh yeah, you can't do that. If you're making a demo, it has to be 100% polished. Like no placeholders, no lacking animations, none of that. Matter of fact, it really probably needs to be even more polished than your regular game.
Yeah. Oh yes. And that's, I think, a very big misconception people will have, that, if it's an early access, sure, you can have, as Pony said at the same time, that, you can have placeholder art, you can have stuff that's not finished. But if you're releasing an official demo to your game, people assume that, everything that's in that demo is going to be indicative of the quality of your real game.
Yep, and it's going to be harsh. Yeah, it is buffer down. I'm playing around with it, and I swapped it down to 240p and seeing if that's going to fix it. Hopefully it does.
Yeah, mine is on looks like 360p right now.
Yeah, 360p was buffering for me. So far, no buffer yet on the two whatever I said, 240. So maybe that'll fix it. Maybe.
But when you're trying to decide what's in the demo, like again, like this is something that is different on a game by game basis. If you're, building a platformer, you can put like the first, I don't know, 5, 6 levels of your game in the demo and call it a day. If you're making,
if your levels are short enough, anyway.
Yeah.
If they're really long, then probably not.
But if you're making, an 80-hour long RPG, 10 minutes of that is what, bunch of characters staying around talking, and then the demo ends.
Yeah, it's the first half of the first cutscene.
Yeah. They'll be in the middle of talking, all of a sudden they'll say, okay, the demo's over now. Go buy our game on Steam.
Yeah. You have to provide enough gameplay in there and enough story moments. And oftentimes it's best not to put in the start of the game there. It's best to start them sort of in the middle kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Find simulate a high point in the middle of your game kind of thing. Find that and then make a new version of it kind of thing for the demo kind of thing. Because you want some really good cutscenes. You want some really good gameplay in there. But you don't want too much cutscenes and too much gameplay. And you also don't want anything that the player isn't going to understand from just the demo. Without knowing your previous games, if it's a sequel to something, without knowing, any other part of the game, they gotta understand what's going on just from that cutscene. And even if normally you can't know that, you can change things up, change your cutscenes in such a way that they will understand that kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, the timer thing, that's what we played that game Barbarian. Like, I think that was the last one that had, I think it was like a 45-minute long timer. I beat the game in 20 minutes or something like that for the demo. I don't know, like, timers seem like
a bad thing.
Yeah, like, it just seems like an unnecessary, wall or unnecessary frustration for the player.
Yeah, like timers just don't work in my opinion.
Yeah. So here's some.
I'm getting buffering on 242. I'm swapping down to 144.
Oh, YouTube, what are you doing to me here?
Now we're just a blurry mess.
Oh no.
So 144p. It's like Stone Age TV.
Oh, good. One of my favorite demos I thought they did really right was, of course, Resident Evil 4 from back in the day. And that one, it basically took you right past the first villager fight. And I think that one did it pretty well. It introduced the basic concepts. It took us to probably one of the most memorable parts of Resident Evil 4, and then it leaves you wanting more. But I think there is something else as a very important point about some of the better demos. Some of the better ones, I think, in a way, can be replayed. Like, it's such a good experience, you want to play it again to get hype for the main game.
I'm unfamiliar with that one.
So. Like, when I play Resident Evil 4, I play that demo at least like 4 or 5 times just because I wanted to experience it in different ways.
Well, how could you experience it differently?
Basically doing different things in the actual village. Staying on the ladder, going inside, seeing how you get through without taking any damage, things like that.
So you're saying the gameplay didn't change, just you wanted to play it more?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking you were talking about like a roguelike or something. I was like,
A roguelike demo. There we go. Procedurally generated demos. Perfect.
There we go.
Yeah. But again, not every game is really feasible for that. And it is very hard. Again, like as you were saying earlier, that with the rise of refund policies, there you go, uninstalls the release. There have been some games that have done that, where if you die, it completely exits out of the game or uninstalls it. It's a one shot only. But as you were saying, or as you were saying earlier, that we have seen games that the refund policy has, in a way, replaced the need for a demo. But I would still argue, and I think you said this as well, that there should still be something, something free, because I think it's all about the consumer mindset. There's a difference between saying, here's a free 2-hour demo of our game, and give us $50 and you can play the game free for 2 hours.
Yeah. There definitely is. It's I guess you'd call it a framing issue, which we'll get into more in depth when we talk about the marketing, which is not today. But when we get marketing, framing is very much an important part of it. But in general, the short end of things, framing is, there's 400 people. Would you like to kill, 400 people and the coronavirus is going to attack, hit them? Would you rather kill 200 and let the other 200 survive, or would you rather save 200?
Yeah.
It's like the same result both ways, and people are going to choose the save 200 versus the kill 200 because of how it's framed.
Yep.
And that's kind of the issue you run with the refund policy is pay X amount and get 2 hours, or get 2 hours for free, and if you want to continue, pay money.
Yeah. And to Pony's point there, yep, that's another thing that you can have the 2 hours have like nothing to do with the game, or be very exciting, and then the game just nosedives at like 2.5 hours in and beyond.
Oh, you mean AAA games?
Yep.
Yeah, you could very easily do that. AAA does that all the time, but they still don't really suffer for it. If indie did that, they would catch all kinds of hell for it. But AAA does it, it's going to wash over pretty quickly.
I still need to play the newest Doom, and yeah, I think the weird thing is that it's very rare, I think, today to see demos of AAA games, with few exceptions. Again, I think Doom Eternal didn't have one. Capcom had the Resident Evil 3. Capcom, going back to the idea of standalone demos, both the Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 7 demos I thought were really good.
Yeah, I haven't played them. But a bad demo is worse than no demo. Yeah.
Especially,
and a good demo can be better than no demo.
Yeah.
So.
And especially in today's market, again, the rise of streamer and YouTuber culture has been such a, big point about marketing and showing off a game.
And there's, also been points where, streamers have showed off a game and it's made basically no impact on sales kind of thing at the same time. We've had that kind of, we had, I heard some developers say that PewDiePie played their game. And their game still horribly failed with hardly any sales. It was a lot more sales than what we got, but it was still a pretty big fail kind of thing.
Yeah. But
it's less of a fail than him not playing it, kind of thing. You're not probably going to do worse than you would have if he plays your game, or most streamers play your game unless they make a real crap show out of it, and then you might do worse. But and I've had experience with that one. But in general, streamers are, and content creators are not going to lower it. They just may not necessarily raise it either. Hey, Apox.
Oh, hello. And again, it is such a just a complete slot machine in terms of the person going to play your game. There are, as you said, there are some YouTubers who will do the whole analytical process on that game. Again, if if I want to look at an XCOM game or something like that, I'm gonna go to somebody like Christopher Odd or I think Beagle Rush. I keep forgetting his name there. Deagle Rush, whatever, whatever that streamer's name is. Like somebody who knows that genre. But again, you can't, as a developer, you can't just say we're going to let our fans handle the demos for us and we won't do a damn thing, because you can't do that as a studio.
Yeah, and not to mention YouTube wise and streamer wise, there are games that do not fit, kind of thing, and will not get. It would be completely worthless because, like, when you're talking about like an RPG or something, like Final Fantasy or that kind of thing, like streaming is horrible for it. Like pretty much nobody is going to watch a stream on that kind of thing. I mean, some people will, but only people who are highly committed to their content. Everybody else won't.
Yeah.
Where like RPGs will do better on YouTube, but still not good, kind of thing. Yeah. And that's really sad.
Yeah. And also, I see a lot of demos for visual novel games, and I don't know. I just don't see that being like a good a good genre for demos, because it's basically, here, read text for 15 minutes, the demo's over.
Yeah, like I personally I don't like visual novels, but like the only visual novel kind of thing that I would be interested in, as a demo or as a whole game, would be one that has meaningful choices in it. And that would kind of blur the lines between like a visual novel and a Twine game. That would that could be good. That could be interesting, kind of thing. But like, if it is just a book that I'm watching and reading, I have 100% zero interest in it.
Yep. And again, it goes back to just what kind of games really do need demos. And like, the problem is that, again, that it's so hard to get it's distill a $60 game into 30 minutes to an hour of free content. And like, for me, like, there are games that I would like to play demos of just to see, like, the genres I'm not familiar with. And again, like, you can't ask somebody to say, a game that you have no idea you like, give us $60 and see if you can enjoy it in 2 hours.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest shortcomings of the 2-hour refund policy, on Steam, from that fully replacing demos, is the 2 week, because you have 2 weeks to try it before you can't refund it anymore. And with everybody having such a full, most people having such a full library, you may buy a game and completely forget that you need to try that game before the 2 weeks is up, and realize like 2 months later, oh crap, I need to play that game. I haven't tried it yet. And then you play it. Oh, you put like 2 minutes into it, and you're like, oh, this is not good. Like it's really obvious in the first 2 minutes, and then you go to refund it. Oh, it's been 2 months now. You can't refund. Oh crap.
Yeah.
That's where the Steam refund policy, doesn't handle it, kind of thing. And I mean, you can still potentially get a refund after that point, but it's not automatic, and you have to go through a whole lot of hassle and everything.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, you can buy a game, speed run it in 2 hours, or I'm sorry, maybe a little bit over 2 hours, get the entire experience, and return it, and you essentially just got a game for free.
Yeah.
And we've done that with a few of the games we've played on stream. There is that infamous one from the streamer who did with one of the Sonic games. He just literally beat the game in 2 hours, returned it, and by the end of his stream, he got his money back.
Jeez.
And again, like, I think the refund policy by itself, it goes back, it's kind of like some of what we were talking about unions, that on the good examples, it's great, but there is no one-size-fits-all approach to it. Like, 2 hours of a Sonic game, or 2 hours of, a platform or whatever, is very possible you could beat that game in that time. Like, if we were playing Streets of Rage 4 on, like, the easier settings, I bet we could have beaten that game in, like, an hour.
Yeah, we probably could have, because it wasn't... Right? If we had it on easy, or even normal kind of thing, we would have beat it. Like, because we were, like 2 stages from the end?
We were 2 or 3. Like, we were really close. And again, we were playing it on the second hardest difficulty. That's why it took a lot longer.
Yeah, if we died and had to start over with multiple lives, like more lives, like 8, 9 times kind of thing?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we had cut down difficulty by just 1 notch, we would have probably cut like 6 or 7 of, probably at least 4 of those, which would be more than enough to complete the last 3 stages.
Yeah.
And we would have, we could have potentially even cut more and, like finished the game in like an hour and a half kind of thing.
Yeah. And there are people who probably did that. And
probably.
Again, I just don't think the refund policy, or the idea of refunding a game, should be used as a demo. And speaking of demos, here's another little rant that we haven't talked about yet. Time-limited demos. If Shark remembers when we did the Steam Spring Festival,
that was horrible. And they're doing another one too.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Isn't that just what they did in Death Stranding? Imagine the 2-hour window on Death Stranding. Start game, hour 40 of cutscenes, walk for 10 minutes, 30-minute cutscene.
Game demo's over in the middle of cutscene.
But yeah, like, a time-limited demo, that doesn't really sound right. Now, some of the games that I did play on that festival, their demos are still up. But there are plenty of them that aren't up anymore.
Yeah, that's just stupid, Like there shouldn't be any time-limited demos. Time-limited demos, shouldn't be a thing. Like maybe they're featured for time-limited, but not time-limited demos,
Yeah.
Like the demos, once you put a demo up, it should stay up.
Yep.
But at the same time, once, Steam shouldn't have to feature your demo forever. You can have the feature be limited, but don't limit the demos. That's horrible.
And I was thinking about the fighting genre. All right, thank you, Apox. I was thinking about with the fighting genre in particular, that would be a genre I think every fighting game should have a demo too. And the demo should be just simply, here's 2 characters, maybe we throw in the tutorial, and fight with a friend or fight against AI, just so you can see the combat system.
Yeah.
And
just make every character but 2 locked.
Yeah. And, call it a day there. Again, it's very easy in some way for some of these genres to be able to show off what their game is. I'm trying to remember. Did Civilization ever have demos for any of them?
I have no idea.
Like, again, there are so many genres, so many games out there that I think the other option that I would like this would be like the other kind of like perfect, not exactly the perfect world, but at least a better version of the refund policy. Would be that you could turn on like a little timer in the corner that, when it hits the 2 hour, when it hits that warning, it'll say, time running out, time running out. Do you want to leave the game now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But again, that's not solving the problem.
You know what I would like to see is a better platform, or the current platform get better, kind of thing. And like you need real curation to do this. You need real people playing the game, and they set a not Stadia. Hashtag not ever Stadia. They set a demo time, like there's probably like a few defaults, kind of thing, and they pick one of the defaults. Like on this game, you'll have a 30-minute refund time, or on this game you'll have a 2-hour time, and on this game you're going to have a 5-hour time based on the individual game, because like No Man's Sky needed a lot more than 2 hours.
Oh yes.
And a beat 'em up that is only an hour or two long doesn't need a 2-hour refund policy. They need like a 30-minute or less.
30, 45 minutes. Yeah. There needs to be more control, I think.
Yeah. And we definitely cannot put this control into developers' hands, because there are many developers that will take many, dubious developers that will take advantage of that kind of thing. Like these asset flippers, they'll take and put it to the smallest time possible.
Like it's a 2-minute long demo.
Yeah, they'll make the refund policy. They'll set it to 1 minute, and and also when you exit out the game, it stays running in your background tasks, so that like even if you exit out right from the title screen and then go right into your task manager, you're probably not going to get it before the time limit runs out.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, man, that was just killing me. And that's what I was saying earlier, Pony, about having an overlay, like have more integration for the Steam games.
Yeah, but like I think we need real curation on a platform to set the they go in there and they beat the game, or at least as close as you can beat a game. I mean, like some games are unbeatable, like Oxygen not included, and
like imagine like that's another really good point about something like Oxygen not included. This is, I think, again, one of the issues with why the refund policy by itself doesn't work. That Oxygen not included isn't a game that you can finish in 2 hours. You can't even really like master that game in 2 hours. And
you can't even master that game in 2 months.
Yeah. So how are you going to learn in 120 minutes everything there is about whether or not you're going to like Oxygen not included?
Yeah. That's why I said we gotta have, like, we need a platform that can, that has real curation on it, and they go through and they, manually set, from pre-selected times, how long, that the demo should be, and how long that it took them to beat the game, kind of thing. And the thing is you could get those curated people really, really easily and really, really cheap, because all you gotta do is, let's just say this team wanted to do this. All they gotta do is like put out a call for people who want to play games for free. We're going to give you a free key. You have to beat the game, and then you have to write a review on the game, and then you have to tell us, fill out this information thing that tells us how long the game is, about how long it took you to get into it and really figure it out before how long our refund should be, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And fill out all this information in exchange for the key, and put out a free call to that, and let whoever join, and then give them random games, and surely thousands of people would sign up to that. And when you have thousands of people and 30 games a day, it is very, very possible to test every game to completion very easily without 1 cent. Well, I wouldn't say 1 cent, because they do have to pay somebody to go over the forms and whatnot and do the final checks. But like, it would cost very, very next to nothing to do this for the entire platform of Steam. Just done, kind of thing. And if I ever get my wish to make my own platform, you can bet I'm going to be doing something just like this, but better.
All right. With
that's really what we need.
Yeah. I think with that, let's move on. Unless there's any other aspects of demos that you can think of.
I don't know. And I also don't know what I'd call my platform. Probably something off of my development company. Something about Nexus Games, Mm-hmm. Maybe the Nexus Games portal. I don't know.
I think as a final point, like I think like what Jeff Vogt does, like with his shareware demos, is a pretty. I think that's a pretty nice middle ground. That it's the he'll give you a sizable chunk of the game, and then basically you can do anything and everything you want within that chunk. But the second you want to go further than that, that's the end of the demo.
What you mean, like just putting into it like normal shareware does?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just shareware.
Yeah.
It's not a demo. That's just shareware.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think like to improve things, we are going to see things change, as you said. And maybe we'll get more curation. Maybe we can yell at Steam a little bit more about that.
Yeah, they won't be listening, probably.
Mm-hmm. Unless Epic does it first.
Yeah.
All right, let's yell at Epic.
They probably won't do it. They'll just do something different.
Mm-hmm. But I think with that, let's get to our weird games. Then we'll talk about more in terms of prologues, because I think that's a really good, part 2 of this conversation. And maybe we'll see some prologues today.
I just thought of one more point, though, before we move on. And this is not necessarily with demos, but it is on that route kind of thing. And that route is free-to-play games.
Mm-hmm.
Free-to-play games have, like, all the advantages here. Because, like, you don't need to make a demo. You don't need to do anything. Just release your game. Mm-hmm. People can play it. There's a demo. That's better than a demo. It's better than all of it, kind of thing. The only issue is, not free-to-pay. Because, like, there are legitimate games out there that do free-to-play. I'm hopefully making one of them right now, but like they're very few and far between, kind of thing. Like most of them are bad and abusive. Like a vast majority of them, probably like 99.9% of them are absolutely horrible. Fee to pay, pay to win. It's just cosmetics, even though cosmetics is worse than pay to win. That kind of bullcrap. Like most of them are that. And I can't fault anybody for having negative opinions about them, because like when 99.9% of the games out there like that are horrible, most people don't see that 0.01% to know that there are some good ones out there. And, I am intending on adding to that list. And hopefully, I add to that list in such a major way that does it right. With no paywalls, no nothing. Where everything is available for free currency.
Yeah. But free to play, that is another topic, I think, right
Indeed,
there.
but
Yeah.
but it is a way to get over the demo kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a completely different way to do your game, and unless you're educated in it, you're more than likely going to be one of the 99%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my game's a CCG that I'm working on now.
All right. But with that, let's get to our weird game segment and see what's coming out in this coming week. So let me pull this up here. There we are. So I got a press key for this one that I'm sure, Shark, you want me to play on stream.
Probably. I haven't seen it yet, and it's going to be hard to see it. Let me try to get the quality up here. See if YouTube will actually let me take it up to 360p.
So this is a game where you play as a succubus who's apparently in a Dark Souls game. And of course you can customize her outfit.
Oh yeah, you got to play that.
I'm sure I'll get no demods for this, right?
No. I can guarantee you that you'll get less demods than Just Shapes and Beats, that's for sure.
Yeah, probably. Alright, let's see what we got here. Okay. What the heck is this game?
It's a Diablo clone. What's the name of this one? Battle of the what?
Battle of Angels.
Oh, that does not have the visual aesthetics in it. That background looks horrible.
Mm-hmm. And that cityscape is just a pain on the eyes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Informatica? Way of Boy, Another Way. Rise of the Fotorati? Online massively multiplayer strategy game with real-time strategy and turn-based elements.
What about something with neon in the title? Because we're probably going to have neon in the title of our game.
Let's see. Blast Rush Classic. Okay, I'm not reading the title of this game down there.
Which one?
You'll see in a second.
Oh, the official one?
Mm-hmm.
You got to make it official, man.
Yep. What the?
I like how the official's in the name, but it's not on the thumbnail title screen thing.
Mm-hmm. Super Gear Quest. Gold Starter. Oh, it's a Metroidvania.
Your cries falls on Nintendo's deaf ears.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Blob Games. Never.
Although my programmer was working on a game along the lines of F-Zero, just a prototype kind of thing.
Alright. Well, I'm going to put in a key for this one. Again, it's a Metroidvania, so surely it can't be bad, right?
No, it could never be bad.
The Legacy Realm of Terror. Okay, this has to be a re-release.
Yeah, I have Red Out, but I've never played it. I have Red Out and all the DLC to it because I got it all for I think 99 cents or something. But I haven't actually played it. And I had it installed for a while and then I uninstalled it because it takes up so much hard drive space.
Alright, this is an escape room game.
Oh no.
Population 0. Wintermoor Tactics Club. What is this? Surviving high school, inspired by tactical RPGs and visual novels.
It's a tactical visual novel.
I guess so.
You tactically place the dialogue boxes so when you're going to talk to somebody.
What is... Okay.
I personally never got into F-Zero, but I didn't play it very much either, so like that very well could be a reason.
I played a little bit of Zero, but I didn't get good at it.
Yeah, I only played like F-Zero for like I think like 5-10 minutes, like 1 or 2 races.
Yeah, this
I definitely
be
never played GX.
Alright, I'll put a key in for it. Critters for sale. What the heck?
You want to buy the critters?
Oh yeah, that GIF is killing. That doesn't hurt your eyes at all.
Oh, James.
A hybrid between visual novel and point and click. You mean an adventure game? I've invented something.
Maybe they didn't know that adventure games exist.
Oof. I mean, I'll give it style points, but these things are just hurting your eyes if you look at it for too long.
Yeah. I take it they didn't have anybody test it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they did, they'd probably be blind now.
What if we make a game that combines walking from left and right and jumping at the same time?
Oh, snap. We could call it a walking jumping
There
game.
you go.
You know what we could do even more?
Mm-hmm.
Is if we gave like interchangeable weapons in it and let you jump twice once in midair.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah. That'd be a whole new genre right there.
Mm-hmm. We'll be the first ones.
Yeah, we'll be the very first ones. We'll call it Metrovania.
Nah, that name won't stick.
You don't think so?
I love these. Remember we had that talk last week about marketing points with your game?
Yeah.
Okay, first one, adult theme. And after that, it's the censored version. And I love authentically retro. This was coded from a core module similar to OpenGL. This game uses math concepts.
Oh yeah, everybody cares that it's how you programmed it.
Mm-hmm. Every consumer cares.
And every consumer also wants an adult themed game that's censored. Like doesn't censoring like kind of like nullify the point of it being an adult game? Like
Let's see.
Like that's like okay, here's a bike for big kids, but you gotta put the training wheels on it.
Well, this could be
no.
Puzzle pack game. You play as 3 raccoons in a trench coat pulling off wacky Wild West heists. Designed by a student collective from the University of Utah.
Yeah, that's got that's got like game jam that they put more levels in it written all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a full polished game.
Yep. Denial.
Yeah, there we go. A Grand Theft Auto with no cars, or Grand Theft Auto with like one with a makeshift car that's not actually a car. It's actually a bicycle that just looks like a car. You get in and it's got the pedals down on the floor.
What the heck is that? That's a really great animation right there.
What the heck is that? Are they taking a piss on that? I mean, what is that?
Well, it's an indie game.
Oh, it's an indie game. No, that's like some kind of bars or something going up.
Why brick breaker type games are dead? Uh,
I don't think they necessarily are, but you've got to do something different with them.
yeah, like that again. That Skyrocket game.
Yeah,
What is this?
the Skyrocket was like a cross between a breaker game and a Pong game, but they did so many different things with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just going to make a generic brick breaker game, yeah, that's not going to do well. Everybody's already played that, and everybody can still play that now for free in like thousands of different places.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to give them a reason to buy it. Give them.
I just love how that what was it? Trials of Hercules game has inspired their own clones, and now the clones are up to like the 8th and ninth game in the series. The clones are multiplying.
That's funny.
Wavy the Rocket. I got an email from the developer about this. This is the thing that. Okay. The developer sent me an email saying this is a 3D hardcore platformer. I don't see any platforming.
Yeah, and it doesn't look 3D either. It looks 2.5D.
Ooh, 80 plus levels. Okay. Well, I'll put in for it.
It looks like it has platforming elements, but the platforming elements take place in sort of like a side-scrolling shooter kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they only give Skyrocket a check there. That was probably one of the best examples we've seen lately of like a first-time game, as well as elevating a design.
Puppy Bear with neon lights.
House of Fear. Is the house full of fear here? Oh, it's an escape. House of Fear is a mix of genres, escape room and horror. You mean survival horror? Oh, I'm getting the aneurysms tonight, Shark.
I'm glad it's you and not me. At least there's not a Final Fantasy VII remake on here.
I was about to say that. Spirit of the North. Why does it sound... Wait. Player? No, this isn't the game that I'm... Wait a minute. Isn't this the game that I played that was on Epic?
Probably.
It looks familiar. No, that one didn't have as much puzzle solving. But it has a very similar look to it. One Dreamer. Oh, One Dreamer of the Prologue edition. That's a perfect way to get into our next conversation.
Yep. Does that mean this is the last one we're looking at?
We'll see. I think we're still in this week, though. Yeah, we haven't even done the week.
Oh.
Angry
so
Bunny.
We got the perfect transition, and it was at the wrong time.
Yeah. Celestian Tales. What's this? Is a beautiful hand-painted RPG set in a world of questionable morals. A tale.
Well, at least they're questionable.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't want people not answering questions, asking questions, answering them either.
Skip the fight, just too damn many random encounters. Thank you. Alright, this sounds like it could be interesting. Well, why not?
I don't know. I call that one heavily into question.
Real life. So may it be a witch dating simulator.
Oh, we need to play that online, or stream it because Drakon will absolutely love that.
I'm surprised he hasn't shown up yet.
He probably's waiting in the wind for just that visual novel.
Milk and cookies.
He very well could be, Pony. I don't actually know, though. questionable.
That Fury. Oh, that Fury Unleashed game that I play is finally coming out this week. Maybe we'll do another run on it.
I don't remember that one.
It was like a 2D run and gun roguelike. Wait, I love this one right here.
The satire game?
Yeah. Wait, the name of the game is For Whom the Doll Dances, and this is Oh, Who is Dancing?
Somebody messed up there.
I love the thumbnail for Player Power.
What about Trump and Virus?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that's going to be a really great game.
Oh, yeah. Like, top 1%
Alright,
games. It'll be on the best-selling list.
Alright, this will be our final page. Okay, it's a shmup.
Did I just see Trump in that one?
I saw the word Trump. I wasn't sure. It can't be just... No.
That
What?
seems so out of place.
What? I am Trump, and now the magic mirror? What kind of dialogue is that?
I don't know.
What?
Were they trying to spell triumph and just spell Trump instead?
No.
I mean, like, what is that? Because I am triumphant, would kind of make sense there. But, like, I am Trump doesn't make any sense at all.
No. Whiz-eye.
Unless they have some kind of weird story where that is Trump. I don't even know about that one. That I seen that and I was like, wait a minute. Did I just see that?
Mm-hmm. This looks like Unreal assets right here.
Yeah. Unreal assets and some ones off the asset store.
I am not clicking on Japan Girls. That's a trap, I think, right there.
Oh, it's a trap? That wouldn't be Japan Girls. That would be Japan Traps.
Unlord. Wait. Oh, good. Oh, here you go, Shark. It's your favorite. This game has 450,000 characters and 62,000 words on 775 pages.
Is all the words the characters' names?
Maybe. Oh,
it is
good.
A game of a list of a ton of characters' names. That's the entire game. It's a list of character names.
And the best part is they didn't even translate it to English. This is all in looks like Russian. All right, then.
And no visual appeal at all.
Well, you like
it looks like they tried. I mean, this looks like a Twine game. What this looks like does it say if it's made with Twine? Because it looks like it looks like it's a Twine game.
No, they're not saying it.
One with they've put some attempt at visual appeal, but not really. Looks almost worse than having no visual appeal.
Alright, but with that, let's get to our final topic for this week and segue into this discussion about Prologues. Because this has been something we're seeing a lot of indie developers. They've been making use of this as kind of an alternative to a demo. So, the idea of the Prologue is essentially we're going to give you a self-contained mini version of our actual game. So you remember Legend of Keepers? They had their whole prologue. And
I never heard of that game.
No, not at all. But with that game that you never heard of, how much was in that prologue?
Basically infinite, because you could play all the way from the start to the finish of that game. I think it was 100 levels.
Mm-hmm.
If you could live that long, and then you would start. It was a roguelike, so, you would ask the question, what is a roguelike? And then after that, you would just keep on playing it over and over again kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was, basically had infinite content in that prologue kind of thing. And, there was limited number of characters that you could unlock there. There was only one I would about to say hero, but you're playing as a bad guy, so one lead villain, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you bought the supporters pack, which I did, you unlocked a second, hero main villain kind of thing that you could use, as well as a few other things. And they had level up trees and everything that you could. I played for like I don't know, like I don't know how much time I put in that. Probably 10, 15 hours kind of thing, and I didn't come close to even halfway maxing out one of their trees kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like I was constantly making it all the way through the game, and it was ridiculously fun.
And like we've been saying, like this idea of a standalone demo for your game seems to be building here. Like if you type Prologue in on Steam, we can see in the last like 2 or 3 months. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. At least 12 games, at least in the last 2 or 3 months, that made use of Prologues. And then even beyond that, we've been seeing some older games having Prologue editions of their titles as well. And the thing about this, and what makes it different than a demo, is that the Prologue itself is designed entirely to be self-contained. It's not meant to, just like cut at a specific point. It's as we've said, it's designed to be, a complete package from start to finish, and essentially give you, like the sampler version of what the full game is.
Mm-hmm. I think the issue is when you put too much content in that makes it where when you release your game, like people aren't really interested in it, kind of thing. Like I know with Legend of Keepers kind of thing, like I was super into that game and everything. I was hardcore, kind of thing. And, I was set to buy the game. I bought the supporters pack, before the game came out, right, near the start kind of thing. And then went to, Josh got a key for the actual full game.
Mm-hmm.
And I could literally tell no difference between his game and my game with the starter pack. I mean, the starter pack did add stuff like the second hero and everything, but he had the second hero all in his full game. It's like there's not a third one. There's not. Doesn't seem to be any new enemies. Doesn't seem to be any new monsters. Doesn't seem to be anything. And after that, it looked like the demo was the prologue was no longer 100. You couldn't go 100 rounds. You could only go 50. Like they nerfed the prologue and just made the prologue have less content. The thing that I paid for. Well, I didn't pay for the prologue, but I paid for the supporters pack on the prologue. And now my supporters pack is nerfed and everything. And they're like, oh, well, if you bought the supporters pack, there's a supporters pack for the full game. And I'm like, yeah. And you're getting it for free if you buy the full game. But yeah, the full game doesn't seem to really be offering anything that I couldn't get, that I didn't get in the supporters pack on the free version until they nerfed it.
Mm-hmm. So
like that was a real bad move. That really soured my taste, and I didn't end up buying the game. Despite buying the supporters pack, it's on my wish list. If it goes cheap enough, I'm going to buy it. If it ever, I'm following updates on it and whatnot, and if they ever do release something substantial content-wise, I'll probably pick it up. But like right now, it doesn't seem to be a reason to pick it up. And this is kind of the same thing you run with the demos. If you put too much content in there and then don't deliver enough on the real product, then there needs to be a good and clear visual difference in the game. I don't just mean like new gameplay mechanics. There needs to be a visual difference kind of thing. Like you need like new stages, you need like new characters, new enemies, new this, new that. You need to show visually that this is different than the other, because like you can put new modes in there and people will appreciate it, but most people aren't going to really notice that when they're watching a YouTube stream or a Twitch stream, that it is anything different. Because like I wasn't watching it really closely because I think I was in a business meeting during that time. I had to talk to my programmer, so I couldn't watch it very closely, but I was trying to watch it as close as I could, and I seen zero things new in there that I didn't already have in my supporters pack. And then I found out later that they nerfed the free version, and therefore my supporters pack. And not happy about that.
Yep. And you don't want to change like your prologue. And it's the same thing as we said before. Like when your full game comes out, that doesn't mean you want nerf your demo. That just again, like the demo and your prologue should be entirely standalone. You should be able to enjoy your game as much as you should be able to enjoy playing the game as you would enjoy the prologue. Just smaller content.
Yeah.
And to Pony's point, that I know I was looking at the Alder's Blood prologue, and they did that. The prologue for it is basically like a standalone story that's still set in the universe, and it's just kind of there to set up the main game. And I'm trying to look here really fast. Prologue is free. Sneak peek. And yet, like again, like it is dependent on the different games that you have. Like we played the Dreamscapers prologue, and that one again was just maybe like I think it was just one level that was procedurally generated. You get the boss, you get a little bit of unlocking weapons, you get like a little bit of the story, and then that's it. But it again goes back to that topic of how much do you put into the demo and how much do you leave out of it. Because again, like you said with the Legend of Keepers one, like I was asking you that myself, like, was there any difference? Because like we played that prologue version. I remember we had the discussion, like, the full game's going to be completely different than this. And no, it was exactly the same thing as the prologue.
Yeah. With maybe a little bit of extra stuff. And like we ran into that same thing with what was that other game, Monster something?
Monster Sanctuary. I was just looking that up as you were saying it.
Yeah, Monster Sanctuary. Like another game that I was hardcore in love with and everything. They put out a demo. It wasn't a prologue, it was a demo. And it was meaty. It had like I think I played it for like 6 hours or something. And then they released the game. And they had 4 new areas kind of thing. I bought the game, and I went to the 4 corners of my map and find out that the 4 new areas were like literally like 1 or 2 rooms. It was like, if it didn't take me, 20 minutes to cross the map of the demo kind of thing to get from one point to another, and I could just teleport to the 4 areas kind of thing. Like I could have exhausted that content in about, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds. I could have exhausted all 4 new areas. But because I had to traverse the huge map in the demo kind of thing to get to the 4 outer corners of it, like it, like there was just nothing new pretty much. Like
yeah. And
that was one of the few games I left a bad review on. It's like there's barely anything different, like
that. Again, that's the kind of line you have to worry about when you're making a demo or a prologue. You don't want your demo to be better than your game. Like that is, I think, like rule number what 1 or 2 on the list of making a demo. If your
And you also
demo
want
is
your demo, your real game to be a hair bit better than your demo.
yeah, and unfortunately that goes back to our previous conversation or our earlier chat that you have to be able to set your demo up to be self-contained. It should be able to stand on its own while still giving somebody a taste of what's to come. Again, like as Pony's saying in chat, it's the appetizer. Like
Yeah,
the demo, and like we say, like demo lengths vary. I think it's all based on the game itself. Like if you're making an 80-hour or 100-hour long RPG, yes, an hour, 2 hour long demo I think would be very representative, or to some extent. If you're
yeah,
making a game that there's only like 3 to 5 hours of unique and interesting content, maybe a 10 to 20 minute demo would be better for that.
yeah. And the to Pony's point about it being a demo being an appetizer. Yeah, like what I think the Monster Sanctuary and the what was the other one? Uh, we were just talking about it.
Monster Sanctuary, Alder's Blood,
No,
Dreamscapers.
no. The Legend of
Legend of
Keepers.
Keepers, yeah.
With those two games, like what it felt like was, like the full game is like this burger and a large fry kind of thing, and the demo was a burger and a large fry minus 2 fries.
Yeah. Like what they should have done, like thinking about like looking at Legend of Keepers, I think what they should have done, like if the base game, let's say, is get to 100 days of your campaign, the prologue should have been maybe get to 30 or 40 days. And then we're going to say, okay, that's it, or even get to like the first major difficulty spike or the first major challenge, and then say, okay, you've seen the demo, you want to prove you're better, buy the full game.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming soon, Pony. That's what I keep hearing. I am very much excited about that one myself. And
You will be streaming it first.
yeah, and everyone will be dying in my party.
Yeah, and you'll probably be naming one of them after me and kill me.
Oh yes, and your character will miss every time, and then I'll blame the death on you.
No, my character will hit every time, and you'll still blame it on me.
Yeah, of course. And the problem with it, like we were saying, like the issue with prologues and demos and all that, is that you really need to understand, what is the most representative part of my game. And again, it is dependent heavily on the game itself. Like Pony said earlier about playing a Metroidvania with no powers to it. I don't know if that would make a really good prologue. Because on one hand, you don't want to show everything, all your cards to the player. But on the other hand, like we said, a bad demo or a bad prologue is, 5 times worse than having a bad game.
Or just having no demo or prologue.
Yep.
Because, I was excited about Monster Sanctuary. Didn't end up buying it. I was excited about, Legend of Keepers. Did not buy it because they screwed up their prologue/demos kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they gave too much on the demo/prologue, and they gave very much too little on the full game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to give, and I can see why people do that, why developers do that, because they, this is the easiest way to get a demo out or a prologue out. Just release what you've got right now done in the game, and that'll be the prologue/demo. and then work on updates for the next 3 to 6 months, and then that'll be the actual full game. It's like, no, that does not work.
No, like again, and I think this is another very big point when we talk about these prologues and demos. You are not making the prologue of your game with your verse alpha. No, like your game should be majorly done. Yeah, it should be like 80 to 90% done. Like your game, you should know exactly where your game is going to go. And this content again should be finished. Like there should be no placeholder art in your prologue.
Yeah, it could be missing features though, but not too many of them.
Like you can say, in the full version you'll have full crafting, or weapon customization is not available in this prologue, but it will be in the full game.
And you could have even the UI up there for that, and be like, just put it when somebody clicks on it. Have the this is not available in the demo. Will be available for the full game.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, but what we're saying is, like, if if an enemy appears on screen and says, placeholder art will be added later, no, don't do that.
Yeah, that'll be, your demo syncs your game.
Yeah. And I think I like the idea of the prologue. I think, as you were saying in the last part, it's a great way of, in a sense, having your cake and eating it too. You can develop the prologue as kind of its own place on Steam or in a digital store. It helps kind of boost your game. But again, it's still essentially, you're making a second game. You're making a far smaller game. It's still a small game.
Yeah. Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
How would we call what I'm doing for Project, what I'm going to be doing for Project Triad? It's I don't think it falls into demo or prologue, but it is along those lines kind of thing. Where what I'm doing is I'm going to be giving the game to streamers and whatnot. They're going to be streaming it, and they're giving, they're going to give away keys and everything. The version of the game they play is going to be different, to where it unlocks a vast majority of the cards right from the start kind of thing. And there will be no pay functions in that version, and they'll be getting cards as if they were paying for kind of thing, like on a fast basis. And they're there for this, to get last level feedback kind of thing from people, to make last adjustments, and to tune things, like tune the shop, with supply and demand, because we want to find out what supply and demand, what rough supply and demand is going to be in the shops, so we can have a decent starting flat curve there to the prices on the shop. The shop works on supply and demand kind of thing, and then after it reaches a certain date, it's going to cut off and no longer function, and then on release date it'll function again, and they'll lose all their progress and everything, because it was all fake progress to begin with. And of course, anybody who participated, we're going to give them a bonus for signing up for that kind of thing, to in the real game when they start out. But they'll be starting the real game at that point.
Kind of like almost kind of like between like a trial and a soft launch, I guess.
Yeah, I've been referring to it as like a semi open/closed beta kind of thing, because
and this is, I think, another important distinction. Like what we're talking about with prologues, these aren't trial periods of your game, because for instance, both Shark and I, we got into the closed beta, or the private beta for Monster Train, and then that closed up, I think, end of March, or maybe a little bit into April there. And no, I think it was end of April, I'm sorry. And
yeah, that's somewhat similar to what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But, different.
Yeah. But again, the point about a prologue is that it becomes its own separate listing on your store page or on the store itself. So if somebody goes to your main game, they'll see the prologue. They go to the prologue, they'll see the main game.
Right. And you don't want to change the prologue for the worse. You don't want to cut out like, oh, it was 100 levels, but now it's only 50. You don't want to do that. You may want to change bug faces and whatnot, and that's what Monster Train did, even though there wasn't a prologue or anything. What they did was they had two separate versions. At least this is what I'm guessing they did. I don't have it in with, I haven't talked in depth with any other developers, even though we have one in our roundtable. But what I'm guessing they did was they had two different branches, of their game. The one that we played, and everything, they definitely, in their Discord, they definitely said they had a different branch that was getting privately tested and everything. And like some of the features that I had suggested were already in the game, but in the other version, not the demo version. But the other version had like all these races, classes, and everything else, and they were the only thing they did to the demo / prologue or whatever you want to call it that they did. Only thing they did update wise to it was fix some bugs, kind of thing. All the other updates went into the full game that only certain privileged people are able to see and play.
And going back to Legend of Keepers again, the weird thing is that the game was released into early access, at least as of this moment, and the prologue was kind of built before that. So again, the only way they could have done that was if the majority of the game was already designed and finished that they put into the prologue. And again, this is the very weird thing. I'm looking at both the store page for that and the prologue, and there's no difference. I am not seeing anything as to why should I play your full game if I have the free version right here and there.
Yeah, you want, like I said before, different mechanics are fine, but you want a visual difference. You want to be able to show that this is not the same. You want to be able to show it off in screenshots that this is not the same. Because, if your screenshots look the same between your prologue and your full game, one's got the price tag of free, one doesn't. Which one do you think they're going to get when they both look visually the same?
There you go, back. Yep, and that, again, you have to be really careful with how you're pitching these aspects to the player. And to a Pony's point, there have been a few Frogger games. I just don't remember any of them off the top of my head.
Yeah. And somebody could very easily make a Frogger game that is very successful, but they're not going to make a Frogger game that is just a generic Frogger game. They're going to have to make something special about it.
Ooh,
if they make something special and cool, like an RPG system to where, eventually your frog ends up getting a knife and, a sword and a shield and everything and starts killing cars and stuff, maybe that'll take off, kind of thing. But just a regular, generic Frogger game, never going to go anywhere.
I think that's probably one of our topics for our video series.
Yeah.
Change the color of the tongue.
There we go. That's my next game. I'm making that. I'm going to skip the Chrome Major remake and I'm going to make Grand Toad Auto.
There we go. Perfect. Well, someone's going to beat you to the Shark PG, I'm afraid.
Uh-oh.
There's that game that I think it's coming out soon where you play as a shark. Open world shark. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to discuss. Prologues, I think they do work if they're done properly. And again, it's something that a lot of developers don't necessarily think about, because you're not really thinking about how do I cut out a 1/16 of my game and turn to something people want to play.
Yeah, I think if you do prologue correctly, kind of thing, it gets that same kind of effect as a free to play game would, because it is you can play the game without any kind of investment, kind of thing. It's good, it's solid, you get a solid experience. Pay microtransactions, or you can, or whatever kind of monetary system they have, pay subscriptions, or you could pay for the full game, kind of thing. And you could easily put something in your prologue that says, hey, you can continue your playthrough here if you pay whatever price for the full game, kind of thing. Make it basically a microtransaction, a not so microtransaction inside of the prologue to get the full game. So it is a method to sort of be free to play, but not be free to play at the same time.
Yeah, and have that option to, like you said, be able to just say, hey, you enjoy the prologue, would you like to unlock the rest of the game right here and there? And obviously, again, this is a major point. This should be a duh moment, but in your prologue, there should be links to your main game in there.
Yeah, and you can do the same thing in a demo too. So how would we define the difference between a prologue and a demo? That's a tough one. Like a prologue. I think a prologue is a more complete experience.
Yeah.
Where a demo is more like a quick hype moment, where so I would figure a prologue would be better for something that is more mechanically driven, kind of thing.
Yeah, strategy game, a roguelike, like you said, anything that is more about what the hell am I doing in this game, as opposed to what is the story of this game. Here's a perfect example, The Last of Us. A prologue of The Last of Us wouldn't be good. A demo, giving you this very cinematic, very I was going to end on a cliffhanger, would be better suited for that. While on the flip side,
more flashy you can make it.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side, for let's say a game like Disgaea, a prologue giving me an explanation of all the various subsystems, what I'm going to be doing in that game, would be better suited for that. If I remember, I guess here's my question for you, Shark. Is this a demo or a prologue? What they've done for the Etrian Odyssey games on the DS is that they'll release a demo that gives you access to all the character classes. You can build your party however you want, and then say you can play up to X floor in the dungeon. Those floors are going to be the exact 100% the same as they are in the main game, but the second you hit, let's say, floor 3, it's over. But you can save your progress, and then when you start the real game, you can begin the game exactly where where prologue/demo left off.
Well, first off, you said it was a demo, so you spoiled it right there.
Yeah. But would that be considered
it is a demo? It is a demo because the save file carrying over isn't necessarily a locked to demo, but it's normally a demo kind of thing. Prologues do have that kind of thing, but it is more heavily a demo thing. And it's also more heavily a demo thing where you get X amount of levels and then it's over, kind of thing, rather where prologues are all the way to the end, kind of thing, rather than cutting you off.
Yeah. One thing I would love to see about this whole idea of taking a more curated or segmented experience would be like trying something like that in a 4X or a grand strategy game where we're going to give you the game, and let's say you can only play up to, let's say, 200 turns, or you can only play until you've achieved like an X goal, but you don't have access to like various factions and multiple subsystems. Let's see. You have to play. Yeah. The whole free-to-play thing is another interesting point. It's what we were talking about at the end of our last segment. That would a free-to-play game be considered a prologue to the main game if you don't spend any money?
Not really.
Yeah.
It would be more of a demo kind of thing.
Yeah. And again, people don't like it when you say, "Oh, but if you want to actually play this game, give us $50."
Yeah. But, not all free-to-play are like that. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness. But sadly, about 99.9% of them are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue, I have to fight. Make it a free-to-play game myself because, my game is automatically going to have a bad stigma on it because, this is a free-to-play game that is going to be pay to win. It's going to drain all the money out of your bank account. It's going to do all these bad things for you, and you should never play it. And it's got such a bad impression before I even finished making it.
Somebody's already made the attack video on your game. You do realize that.
Probably. And I have a good idea who it is, too. Or two people that it is. People I've had issues with in the past. One of them's already made an attack video on my last game.
Mm-hmm. And the problem, as we were talking about this with this whole Prologue system, is that, again, it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all approach. You are going to have to look at your game and figure out, how do I show this off? If we were talking about Monster Train, for instance, I could imagine a prologue version of that being one faction, maybe you unlock a quarter to half of the cards in it, and then everything just kept, as is.
Well, I mean, you sort of were that.
Yeah. But that was released as a closed beta. That was not, officially titled, Monster Train Prologue.
Well, it was a semi-open beta because, anybody could go to their website and request a key and get one, and anyone could go join their Discord and just type a exclamation point, whatever game or something, and get a copy of it. Mm-hmm. But only one copy that way. One copy for every person that joined their Discord.
But I think with that, any other aspects of a prologue you want to cover for today? Because, again, these two topics are so interchangeable.
Yeah, because prologues and demos are very much hand in hand. They're not the same thing, but they have the same point, and that is to sell your game. So whichever one let's just talk about them both together, kind of thing. We need to look past of which one is which, kind of thing, and look at what goes in. What's the purpose of both of them? The purpose of both of them is to sell your game. So whichever one you make, if you make one of them, you need to make it sell your game. It needs to be your best foot forward. Mm-hmm. It needs to, have really, as polished as you can, and just sell the product without giving them too much of the product up front. Mm-hmm. You don't want to give them, 9 hours of a 10-hour game.
Yeah.
You don't want to, whether it's a demo or a prologue, you don't want to do that kind of thing. You want to. You don't want to give them too little of the game. You want to give them enough of the game that they want more, and they're not like raging because you cut it off too quickly. Yeah. Like giving a platformer and I made 2 jumps and then it cut off. I think like people will rage about that. People will absolutely rage. You need to give them enough content that they enjoy it and have a good experience with it, but cut it off right after they get it hooked. You want to get that hook in them. You don't want to drown them after you get the hook in them, or rip the hook out of their mouth. And we're going with fishing. The fish analogies this time. You want to get that hook in there. You want to set that hook, and then after that, you want to reel them in slowly, and then pop them right into the boat. You got them, and that's the end of the demo.
I am playing a fishing game right now, so that is very apt.
Yep. There we go.
And again, it's very hard to know just how much to give and when to cut it, and
there's no stock answer for that because it depends on your game. That is the stock answer. It depends on your game.
There you go.
Because it just varies. It depends on your game. Because your game could be one where you only want to do something for 10 minutes. Your game could be something that you want to give them, 2, 3, 4 hours worth of content. Your game could be, where you want 15 minutes. One for, 27 minutes. One for 2 minutes. There could be any number of answers depending on the design of your game. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you this. This is something we hit on all the time, and we have to hit on it again here. Aesthetics. If your aesthetics are not good mm-hmm. in both your game and your demo / prologue, you're done. Because if your aesthetics are not good, and we're not talking about high horsepower aesthetics, we're not talking about the mm-hmm. 5 million poly 3D models or the, hand painted, took 5 years to create one character model, art. We're talking about
so realistic that, you can't tell if it's real or an image.
Yeah. We're not talking about that. We're talking about visually pleasing, which could be a character that is only 2 colors kind of thing. Like, it could be just pure black and white and still be visually pleasing, Yeah. Like, as a matter of fact, that's a test to do to your game. Take your game and make it black and white. And if it still looks good when it's black and white, then there's a decent chance that it looks good when it's not.
Yep. And again, like, if you're at the point where you're making a prologue or a demo for your game should be pretty much done at that point. Like, that's the big thing. Like, this is the difference. Like, if we did the difference between a prologue and a demo, the difference between a prologue and early access is that in early access, your game can be, very early on. You can have placeholder art. You can have things that don't look right if you explain it to a player. But if you're at the point where you're making a prologue, if you're making a separate version of your game to sell to people, like we said, it's gotta be near perfect. And to your point about making sure the aesthetics are on point, when we played that Dreamscaper game, the aesthetics were on point even at their at the Kickstarter demo. They had that aesthetics and the theme down. So
like even for Kickstarter now, you need the aesthetics there. You need the aesthetics for Kickstarter. You even need the aesthetics for early access.
Oh yes, again, that's another topic right there. When to show your game. When you not so much when you want to show your game, when you want to put it out for the consumer to see. That mm-hmm. is a major topic right there.
Indeed.
And again, you have to be able to show somebody, what your game is going to be. Like, they should be able to walk away from your prologue or your demo and go, I played X, so I'm assuming your game is going to be like Y. If I enjoyed your prologue, your main game should be more and better of what was in that.
And look new. It has to look new too, because like if you just have this, if your screenshots all look the same as your prologue, you're not gonna have a good day.
Yep, like you should be showing me something new, like, and again, like this is again on a game by game basis. Like with Legend of Keeper, what they should have done essentially, the prologue should just show maybe all the tier 1 or lower level enemies. And for the main game, I should be seeing, high level characters, high level traps. There should be again, I should be able to distinguish between what I'm getting in the prologue, what I'm getting in the main game.
From just a screenshot, yes.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
A bad time.
And you should definitely not use the same screenshots that you used in the demo.
No.
And same thing goes with DLC. If you ever do DLC, don't use the same screenshots. Because what are we buying? It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, what are you spending extra $10 on? I don't know.
Yeah. Like, there's so many games that make that mistake with their DLC.
Yeah. And here's my final point, and then I think we're going to wrap things up. At the end of the day, the prologue and the demo are going to sell your game, but it's important to understand that they're not going to make a fan out of somebody who's going to hate it. Like, just because you have a prologue or a demo doesn't mean that somebody who's going to hate your main game is going to go, you know what? I like their gumption in making this. I'm going to buy this game for $20 or $40. This is a consumer protection element. This is so that somebody knows before they've even put down one cent on your game whether or not they're going to enjoy it. And that is perfectly fair.
Well, I would say it's less of that, but more of anybody who's on the fence.
Yeah.
You get them off of the fence and onto your side. You know, like they get off the fence and they're like, maybe I'll buy the game. I'm going to buy the game when it comes out.
Yeah.
But if your demo / prologue is not good enough, you're going to push it to the other side of the fence.
Exactly. And there is that rare chance, somebody who wasn't going to like your games, this game sounds kind of crappy, but then I played your demo and completely blew me away. That can happen too.
Yeah, but the thing is they're not going to be playing your demo unless they have at least some interest.
Yeah. Get them off the fence into the boat, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And again, this is all about this. Again, this leads into that larger talk about marketing your game and how do you promote it. If you remember that Devolver game, the horror one, Carrion, they did a free demo as well, and I think that was also part of the Steam Spring Festival. I wonder if that demo is now available for everybody to play.
Maybe we'll have to do the marketing topic next week.
Could be, or we could do especially add it to all our video series as well. The free demo is...
So we have that on the list for our regular podcast. Yeah. But, we'll definitely be putting a version of that in the recorded show that we're working on now.
The demo does not appear to be available anymore, which is weird. Yeah. And again, as we've said again and again for this piece, when the demo, when the prologue, whenever it goes up, it stays up. You don't want to take this down. And again, this is why...
Very bad on you.
Yeah. And again, this is why you have to be serious about this. Because you can't say, put up the demo and go, oh, everybody hated it, so we're going to take it down. Or everybody beat it, and now they don't want to buy our game.
You can always update the demo.
Oh, yeah. But you don't want to make it worse.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to update it and nerf it.
Early access, that is another topic right there. But typically, your early access should be when you are beyond the proof of concept stage. When somebody can play it and go, I know what this game is going to be like.
Yeah, you shouldn't be putting your, first alpha
Your
out under.
first playable build should not be your early access. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
like a platformer. Here you got a square, and it jumps over on top of these rectangles.
Give me $60.
Yeah, here's the demo.
Because if that was the case, I could have sold my Unity demo and made a lot of money. Yeah, but he had a narrative and existential story to that. We're talking about, no music, no sound effects, just take a square, make them go up and down. Or maybe if I do add existential story to my Unity, I'll just narrate over the character jumping. It could be a art house piece.
There you go. Actually, you should have me narrate it over it because I'll narrate. Get good at jumping. Get good at jumping every time you jump.
I just need you to say it one time. And I'll just put it on loop.
Yeah, that's
and then throw Final Fantasy rant in there as well.
Yeah, whenever you finally land on the platform, that's when the Final Fantasy rant 7 rant starts.
And if you jump all the time, it'll just start. Or it'll be over on top of itself.
Oh, what you gotta do is just keep the first one playing and start a second one and a third one and a third, fourth, fifth, and have kind of like the echo kind of thing every time you jump.
There we go. Sell for $30. It will be Game of the Year. It will be the best first-person shooter on the Game Year Awards.
Oh, you can't sell it for $30. It's got to be at least $40. We're talking about,
best action game since Call of Duty.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, people, we got our plan for this week. But I think with that, let us wrap things up for this week. So as always, if you want to follow me, I am on Twitter at GWBicer. We have our Discord and Patreon linked down below. Yep. And we'll be back next Sunday around 4 p.m. EDT for our next show, and we have our nightly streams as well. So where can people find you, Sharky?
You mainly find me on Discord. I'm there cracking up, and we can have conversations like this and joke around all the time. I do that, a lot of times in voice chat when people are wanting voice chat kind of thing, as well as, in chat when people want to chat, kind of thing. And, find me there. Link will be down in the description. It's down there right now. You can also find me on Twitter and YouTube, which, the new series we're starting to make, making will be on my YouTube channel, and announcements for it will be on my, both of the others. And, yeah, I mean, coming, and you can get updates on Project Triad, on all of them. And hopefully Project Triad is a booming success.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to wait and find out, but hopefully it is. Yeah. And it pretty much is going to be a booming success, or fell on day one. There's pretty much no in between on that, because there's and somebody random is calling my phone. But yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not a booming failure on day one. It'll be, hopefully it'll be good. Well, I know the gameplay is going to be good. Let's just hope the sales are going to be good. The player base is going to be there. No, I mean, it can't be worse than that. Seeing how the first alpha we had, which was the barest of bare, basic, horribleness, with a CCG with only I think 8 cards in it, and it looked derpy and memey as all heck. And people played that for 6 hours straight and then begged for more the next day. It definitely can't be worse than Mighty Number 9.
Yep. Oh, that can be your marketing point. Better than Mighty Number 9.
There we go. That's my new marketing campaign.
There.
It's better than Mighty Number 9.
Right.
It can't be worse than Mighty Number 9.
And make sure to say that it's the best first-person shooter. It beats Battlefield, too.
There we go.
All right, everyone. That is going to do it. So have a great rest of your night. We will see you next week, and I will talk to you all later. And come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where we some of the art and science of games. Until then, see you all later.